I'm Jennie Blackwood, a small town mom of four who refused to settle for a life that didn't light me up. When everything felt uncertain, I didn't run back to a 9-to-5, I bet on myself. I took a simple idea and turned it into an almost 7-figure business my first year, all while being a mom first. Now I'm here to help you trust your own power, chase the dream that keeps tapping your shoulder, and build a life that feels like you. This is Girl, Why Not You? Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Girl, Why Not You? I am your host, Jennie Blackwood, and today's episode is for the woman who has been waiting for the right time, waiting for the right person, waiting to feel ready before she finally does the thing she knows she wants to do. Because what if the thing that's actually holding you back isn't fear? It's waiting for someone else to come with you. And what I love about today's guest is that her story started with a moment like that, a solo retreat, a decision to go anyway. And what she discovered in that experience completely changed the trajectory of her life. Today, I am joined by Charlotte Lilly, founder of the Retreat Co., a business creating transformative travel experiences for women, many of whom show up completely solo. What started as a side hustle alongside a full-time tech career is now a growing movement helping women build confidence, connection, and a whole new sense of what's possible. Charlotte, my friend, I am so excited to have you here today. Welcome to Girl, Why Not You?
Thank you. Love it.
I'm so excited to dive in. For some reason, to me, retreats are like a fascinating thing. One, because they're fabulous. And oh my gosh, like, should we all go on a retreat this year? Make sure you put that on your list, everybody. But it's like transformative. It's all the things to the person attending. But behind the scenes, putting a retreat together is a lot of work.
Sure.
It's probably an understatement, right? But I want to go back with you for a moment because I think that's where everything really started for you, where this kind of seed became planted. So let's go back. Take me to that solo retreat, okay? Give us a little insider information on that. What was happening internally for you in that moment? What's the story?
Okay. That was in 2016. And like many of these things, there was a transformation in my life. I was going through a breakup.
Ah,
And so I was like, I want to do something for myself, you know? And I was like, I've never been on a solo trip. I'd never been to Cuba. And
oh, Cuba.
yeah. And, at the time it was you needed to go on some educational journey to be able to enter the country. And so this yoga retreat somehow was able to do that.
Yeah.
And so I got to go on this trip, and it was so empowering to go on a trip by myself. I showed up at the airport and I was like, okay, I guess I'll look for the leader.
What am I doing?
What am I doing? I guess I'll just show up and meet all these people. And, not only did I meet awesome people on the trip, I also got to do an experience that I never had done before. Uh,
Yeah.
right. And so, especially the solo element, it was so empowering to be like, yeah, I went on this trip by myself and telling people that, but then it opened up the doors for me to go on more solo trips by myself. So it just gave me kind of a confidence that I didn't really know I needed, but I went on it anyway and had a great time. And that's actually what inspired what I do now.
That is so cool. Truly fascinating, actually. I'm finding it like the weirdest thing since I had babies and I'm 41. Because I never have alone time anymore, even simple things like going to grab coffee alone, right? It almost makes me uncomfortable to be alone. And it's weird. So I really give you some kudos for not only going on a retreat solo, but also to Cuba. I mean, that is like a big decision there. But like you said, you were going through a breakup. You were looking for some like life-changing transformation. And so was it worth it? Are you glad you went?
Oh, hands down. Yeah. I do it 10 times over.
I love. So what about that experience like hit differently for you compared to maybe other things you had tried in the past?
Most of my other trips, I'd travel with friends or a
Yeah.
partner, something like that. And so you have a built-in buddy, you have a built-in plan, you have somebody to share those memories with that and that you can like kind of bond with over time. But I don't know, on this trip, you kind of just wing it. You go
Yeah.
in, you say, I'm going to trust it. It's way different than like, planning your own trip. Like I'm a spreadsheet, like every day I have a spread, planned out. Like not only was it all planned for me, which is amazing, but it
Yes.
also was like, just winging it and seeing what happened. And I think the best things in life happen that way. We plan
Yeah,
so much, we work backwards from goals, we plan everything out. But like,
for
how
sure.
often do we just go for it? We don't get
Right.
the opportunity as much. So it felt really great to be able to do.
That is so cool, and it sounds like it really inspired this big aha moment for you. You're pushing your boundaries, you're getting uncomfortable. My favorite saying, which by the way, everybody, I'm making swag that says "get uncomfortable," because that's really where transformation happens. And so here you are, you're in a foreign country, you know nobody. You're like, I think this is going to be amazing, but at this point, there's a lot of unknowns, right? So. When do you think that it hit you? Like you're there, you're loving it, it's starting to feel life changing. When did you decide, I think I want to create this type of experience for other women?
Actually, it was like looking at the trip leader and saying,
Ooh.
"How do I get her life?"
Yeah.
'Cause,
I wanna do
she's
this.
going to all these awesome places, she's bringing together people who are making connections. She gets to lead the show, right? So she
Yeah,
gets to decide where she wants to go and what she wants to do, and I always wanted to be a founder, but I didn't really know what I would do or how I'd go about it, but when I saw that, I was like, "Okay, this is interesting." I love yoga, but I don't wanna be a yoga teacher. But meanwhile, I was, like, planning ski trips left and right, like, for my
yeah,
friends, for my work. So, it was something I was already doing, and so it kinda just dawned on me like, "Oh, I guess I could do this around skiing."
yeah,
I could take people I don't know skiing because I do the same thing where I go skiing with friends that I know. It's a built-in trip, like, all the same things as what you experience when you're going on a retreat or something like that. So,
totally.
yeah, it was kind of that moment where I was like, "Oh, I could do this. I could ski
Yeah.
for my job."
I think that's amazing. So you're taking what I'm getting from this is you're taking something that you already love. You know that about yourself. I am passionate about this. I'm already kind of dabbling in this with just friends. And then all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute. Why couldn't I make something out of this? Why couldn't this be something that I actually did seriously, that I could build a business upon, but I actually get to like what I do? I think that's where a lot of women get stuck is that they may have those aha moments, but a lot of people are struggling to find the momentum to actually act upon it. So for you, what type of beliefs do you think are actually holding people back that in those moments where they're like, this could be truly something I love, life changing, all the things, but they decide to wait instead of actually act?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of reasons for that. I mean, if I look at myself, it would be, is it something people are actually gonna like? Like, I like this, do other people
Yeah.
like this? Or I don't have the time or bandwidth or energy, I think that's a really big one. Like, when I was starting this, there were a lot of tears because I
Yeah.
was
Oh, yeah.
working full time and I was doing this, but I was like, "I wanna do it, but it's so stressful." But, you know, there's a lot of stories we tell ourselves as people,
Yeah.
and especially women, and, there's that confidence piece around, "Can I do this? I've never done it before." Do I have the skills? The answer is yes to all of these things. It's just, actually doing it. Um,
Yeah.
and then, it morphs over time. It's kind of like that, just start, just do something,
Yeah.
and then see how it goes. It doesn't have to be perfect because guess what? In like 3 years, 5 years, 1 year, not even gonna look how you thought it was gonna look
Yeah.
anyway. So
Maybe even 3 months from now, it's not going
yeah,
to look how you thought it was. Yeah. That's,
exactly.
that's very, that's very spot on, like, from what I see all the time, and I talk to so many different types of entrepreneurs, but a big fundamental thing is actually taking action.
Mm,
It's like we can all have the best thoughts, but our thoughts are nothing if they only live in here, right? They only live in your head. Your thoughts have to have action behind them to actually get somewhere. So, for you, you're loving the retreat world. You're like, "Hey, I could really do this." You're on a retreat. What do you think retreats do for people? Like versus like when they come in to the retreat and then who they are after they leave at retreat. What do you see?
what's funny too is that's what my only retreat that I've gone on that I didn't plan. So I've only been on
I
one
love
retreat,
it.
and I'm like, I
Yeah.
think I need to go on more, just as like
Market
Right.
research.
Market research, right? Business expense, but also to just learn and see what other people are doing. But I think, sometimes it's better to just do what you know is best instead of trying to see what other people do
For
and just
sure.
putting your own flavor to it. But for women, for our guests who go on these trips, they have a lot of preconceived beliefs similar to what we were talking about before, but instead of starting a business, it's more like, "Can I go on this trip?" So for my
Yeah.
retreats, it's like, "Oh, I'm not really outdoorsy," or "I'm not a good skier," or "I've never been camping before." The big ones that I hear is like, "I don't know if I'm gonna fit in." What if for some reason everybody else is super excited and confident, but I'm the only one who's nervous,
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
everybody's the same. Everybody has the same fears is kind of like the funny thing that I've discovered. But
Yeah.
afterwards, what people really discover is like, "Oh, I can do hard things." Or,
Yeah.
"Oh, I'm actually capable of doing this stuff." Or, "Oh, I can just show up and figure it out." You know?
Right.
And I'm not the only one who feels nervous, or I don't have to wait for somebody else, to go with me. I can go on my own. And,
Yes.
there's a big difference between the pre-trip and the post-trip from what I see with the guests.
Yeah, there's a lot of transformation that can be had, but you're right. I feel like I've seen that too, and I think that makes what you do so powerful. What would you say the transformation actually looks like for women who come on your retreats? Like, what are you seeing from they walk in the door? Maybe they're super excited, but also like, what am I going to get out of this? What do you see in the transition with your retreat specifically?
With ours, yeah, it's kind of some of the things I just mentioned, but so one, I've talked to almost all my guests about what did you think
Yeah,
before? How did you find us? What did you think in terms of should I book this or not? When you booked it, then how did you feel? I really ask them those questions like for the full journey because
yeah,
I need to know. And I like to do stories and testimonials with them. So,
yes.
a lot of times they actually think it's spam.
Ah,
They're like, in this day and age, I just don't know. You don't know if these trips are legitimate or not,
right.
which, I totally understand. And I've gotten on the phone with many a guest ahead
Yeah.
of, right? They say, "Hey, can I just chat with you?" One just called me on FaceTime out of the blue, maybe trying to like catch me or
Wanna
something.
make sure you're real.
Yeah. And I'm like in my pajamas. I'm like, "Hi, good morning." You so I will chat with them, and they have a lot of those kind of like fears like, "Oh, is it gonna be okay? I don't have my own gear," or, I'm gonna share a bathroom, like, what's that like? I'm scared I'm gonna be the only one who XYZ, or I don't wanna, like, drive by myself, or is there anyone I can carpool with? All these
Yeah,
options. But, like, they usually tell me on day 1, once they arrive, there's just a tone that's set that's, like, very welcoming, everybody's open, because if you are going on a trip solo, you have to have at least a little bit of openness, vulnerability, adventurous spirit. So already these women have something in common, right? They
yeah,
all have that baseline.
yeah.
Otherwise, they're usually pretty different, which is kinda cool. But, we also do a few things to, like, break the ice when they first get there that night. I'm kind of like a deep cuts person. It's like we have 3 days together, so
Yeah.
we're gonna get to know each other.
We're gonna
You
get to know
know?
each other quickly,
Yeah.
ladies.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then, throughout the trip, we do a lot of intentional activities that really help create a bond between the ladies that can create memories, funny moments, things that they, can get to know each other well off of. So, that really helps throughout just the few days we're together.
yeah.
And then, yeah, it's like after, the last day, there have been tears, right? Like, "Oh my
Oh.
gosh, like, this has been so amazing. It's just what I needed. If
Oh,
I'd
that
known
has to
you."
feel good to hear that.
Oh my gosh, that's when I'm like, "This is why I'm doing what I'm doing." Because
Yes, it
sometimes
keeps
I'm
you
like,
going.
"Why am I doing this?"
I know, because it is a lot of work getting into it.
Yeah,
You're mentioning right now, you're talking about connection that happens in these environments.
yeah.
And, it's a different type of environment than many people are used to. Like you just said, you're thrown into a group of people, maybe you know one, maybe you know none, right? But what would you say kind of creates that connection that can happen so quickly? You're doing these different exercises and whatnot, but do you think that people out there are like you said, they leave and they're saying, "Oh, I really needed this." What do you think that they're finding like a tribe of women that are like all in a place of needing something, but they don't know what it is? If that makes sense?
Yeah, I know, and it's so hard to, like, tangibly say what that is, but yes,
Yeah.
if we had to boil it down to one word, it's connection,
Yeah.
because what I hear before these trips is, "I don't have anybody to go with, it's hard for me to find other women to go with," my friends don't camp, they don't ski. My partner doesn't camp, they don't ski. I used to go with my kids, but they don't wanna go with me anymore. Like,
Oh,
constantly, these are the things that I hear. And so, yeah, I mean, they come and they meet women who have similar interests at baseline, the, like, anchor point, the skiing or the camping or whatever.
yeah.
Then from there, I mean, yeah, many of them have, like, hooked up on their own and gone on their own trips.
Oh,
We
cool.
have, like, a WhatsApp group that stays alive and people are sharing, what they're doing and things that we chatted about on the trip, come back up, and it really is that connection piece. We do a survey at the end of each trip, and
Yeah.
this season, 90% of them said that they made lasting friendships,
Yeah. Oh, I
and
love that.
isn't that amazing? And, like,
Yes.
10% were like, "Yeah, my skiing got better." It's definitely more about
Yeah.
that connection piece than it is about the activity itself. The
Right.
activity is just, like, our excuse to get together, but it's like,
Yeah.
you know, it's that connection piece for sure.
There's gotta be a lot of confidence built at these things too. For people who are feeling like they're lacking confidence in certain areas, and maybe that is like, weirdo me that's like, I'm just scared to even go to the coffee shop by myself anymore. It's like, when you push your boundaries, you get growth there, even if it's personal development. Yeah, so maybe a lot of people come out of there even feeling more confident from the things that they learn in those relationships that they're building with you and the other people who are there.
Mhm.
Sometimes we just need to get with like-minded people who are also, sorry, my French, going through some shit because it just helps us to heal knowing that there's power in numbers, right? Like sometimes we get so tunnel visioned. We have all these things happen in our life and it's just running us over. But when you realize that there's kind of like a sisterhood out there of other people have shit going on too.
Yeah.
And you can kind of like almost, I hate to say commiserate together, but you can kind of like heal together and just find like comfort in knowing that you're not alone. So I think that that is a massive thing from a retreat. I have a friend, her name is Lindsay. Maybe she's listening to this. I don't know, but she is like a major retreat lover. She's like a Sedona person. She's not a skiing person, but she's a Sedona person. But it's like she comes back and she'll be like, my entire life has changed. I am a new person. She even went on one with her husband and she's like, we've never been more connected. We've never been better. And I'm like, wow, it's like in such a short amount of time, you can have such a magnitude of growth and really transformation. So I love that you are doing this. This is so cool. So I feel like I think this is really like the message probably underneath everything that you do. What would you say to someone who's waiting to feel ready to start something? What would be your advice to them?
I asked that to the guests after their trip, and it's some combination of just do it.
Yes.
Because it's like, one thing coming from me, it's easy for me to say, I obviously created this and I'm the type of person who would go on it, but like, what would they say? Right. And
Yeah.
100% of them had said something very just straight, like, why wait? Why wait? Just do it.
Yeah.
Just do something like this, because depends on your, the way you think about life. But, if you think about it in the way of like, you only live once, now is
Yeah.
the time, tomorrow you don't know what it brings, those types of things,
Yeah.
which I very much subscribe to. I'm like, just
Yeah.
if you think about it, I get that there's fears involved with stuff like that, but I think that we only grow when we face those fears. And then you realize usually anything that you're scared of, once you do it, you're like, oh, that wasn't
Wasn't
that
that
bad.
bad? Yep.
Yeah. So
Time
I,
and time again, right?
yeah, yeah. And I do think to your point earlier, the confidence piece is really big. Like, not only do you gain confidence through what we do on the retreat and the experience, but like even just saying yes to something does grow confidence. We have our trips are all ages.
Yeah.
But we have quite a few like more mature people who come. So like, 70s, early 70s,
That's
and
really
many of
cool.
them have never been on a solo trip before, ever.
Ooh.
And so a lot of their fears are like, am I too old for this? Or am I going to hold everyone back? The typical woman like way we think. It's like, I don't want to hold anyone back.
Yeah, yeah.
But they, they gain this like amazing confidence that is so, and this is anyone at all ages, but it's so awesome to watch someone, where you understand what they're feeling beforehand, but then they come on the trip and you see afterwards, like,
Oh, yeah.
and blossom and, just feel more confident, which is really cool.
I think anytime that we're in a position where we're doing something we love, that we can truly see that the fruits of our labor are helping other people, it's the best feeling ever. It's like for you to walk away every retreat and go, oh my gosh, like this person is forever changed because of this moment that happened or this experience and or this person that they met or whatnot. I mean, that feels good at the end of the day. So that's probably, this is like a passion project for you that you love doing. And I think it's really cool that the way that it started, you never would have thought that that one split decision that you made was going to transform your life in the way that it has. And I think that that's a really valuable, like, underlayer of all of this that you guys can resonate with is like, think of Charlotte. All she thought she was doing was going on a yoga trip to Cuba. And it completely changed everything. So you never know. Like, you can try to prepare for everything that happens in your life. You can try to control everything, but things are going to happen when you least expect it. I know we all get so annoyed hearing that, especially when it comes to like men. Oh, you'll meet someone when you least expect it. Like, shut up, people, right? But no,
Yeah.
seriously, in this situation, all situations in life, you just never know when the things that are meant to be a part of your life are going to strike. So just always be ready. Never shut down an idea. Never refuse to take action on something that feels like it's right. If you have that nudge, if you have that feeling inside of you and you're like, hey, what's the worst that could come from me actually taking steps to see if this becomes something? What's the worst thing that's going to happen?
Oh,
Right? So if someone's listening and they're waiting on something, waiting for somebody else to go with them, what is their first step?
I think that they already have some idea in the back of their mind about what they wanna be doing. Whether it's taking a trip, whether it's starting a company, like, it comes from somewhere, right? And for me, I think it was already in there, and then I went on that trip, and I was like, "Oh, okay." It got me thinking a little bit more. I
Yeah.
think for me, listening to other people's stories is, like, 100% hands down the thing that inspires me the most. Like, I listen to different podcasts of women who started their businesses. I listen to, other interviews, I read books, I am, like, all about it,
Yeah.
and, sometimes, like, we have our intrinsic inspiration within us, but also it's nice to kind of, like, hear other people's stories. Like, for me, I was in a corporate tech career, and it was a big choice to leave that a year and a half ago, and one of the podcasts I listen to, like, talks about the transition from your first life to your second life of going from a corporate job to your own business, and
Mm,
specifically, I would
I
listen
like
and be like,
that.
"When did they do it and why and how?"
Yes.
And, the answer is it's different for everybody, because like, your financial situation can be different, like, taking this risk involves so many different pieces. So, what was it for me? Was is different than other people. But yeah, I really feel like listening and being inspired by other people is one way to be positively influenced and to like have it bring you like one step forward, one step forward, one step forward.
Sure.
Yeah. That's
No, I couldn't agree with you more. Listen to those words, everybody.
listen to
So
this
listen
podcast.
to this podcast, dang it, okay? We will inspire you. So, guys, here's the thing. If this episode hits you, if you've kind of started to feel that pull while you're listening to this, I just want this to be your reminder today and every day. You don't need somebody else. You do not need perfect timing. You do not need to feel ready. Most people who end up successful still don't feel ready, okay? You just need to go. You need to take action. And if you've been waiting, I ask you today and every day, girl, why not you? Charlotte, thank you so much for being here today. If somebody is listening and they feel really seen by this and they're looking for their best next steps, if they want to attend a Charlotte Lilly retreat, what's the best thing that they can do?
They can go on our website, theretreat.company. They
Mm.
can go on Instagram at underscore the retreat company, and they can sign up for our newsletter to see the things first. So I think those are the best ways.
Oh my gosh. I hope that everybody listening to this is excited, thinking about a retreat. If you love skiing, Charlotte is from Lake Tahoe. Who doesn't want to go spend some retreat time with Charlotte? She is a lovely human. I highly recommend that you check out her website. I'm going to make sure every piece of that information is in the show notes so that you can look into this further. But guys, this is just another beautiful example of somebody who took a chance even when they weren't sure. She started messy, but she started. And wow, what you have built, Charlotte. Congratulations on your business. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you.
Okay, everybody, you have a fabulous rest of your week. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I can't wait to catch up with you next week. See you later, everybody. If something in this episode made you sit up a little straighter or dream a little bigger, don't ignore it. That's your future nudging you. I'm living proof that you can start messy, start scared, start in the worst timing, and still create something beautiful. Thank you for listening to Girl, Why Not You? Now go take one small step towards the life you've been craving. Hit subscribe, leave a review if you feel called, and share this with someone who's ready for more.